there was a situation where, I don't know, about 10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago maybe, I started helping all the people going out into Romania, and a group of people at my local church felt led to go out there, and they asked me if I'd go with them. Now at this time the war was on in Romania, Ceausescu was still alive, and it was a really dodgy time, and what we'd had, unknown to me, there was some people that were being asked to go and see out there and help them. And what they'd done, the secret underground church at the time that was being persecuted, and the secret police came in one day and knocked down the walls of knocked down the door of this church and shot people. And one of the ladies there lost her leg, and she had no husband and she had a family to bring up, and things were really desperate. So we said we would go out on the way through to help this orphanage and find out, see what we could do. So we set off with 2 lorries, 7.5 ton trucks out there, and it took a week to get there because we had to go through the war, where the war was taking place, and bombs going off and machine guns and everything. It was a really terrifying place. But in between time, the truck kept breaking down, and what we had to do was every 20 minutes, half an hour, was get out the truck, pray, and then fix it because it kept breaking down. So, but what we did find was as we hit Romania, every time the truck broke down, we would be outside a place where we had to meet somebody. And we knew we couldn't ask people, because if they were police, we'd have all got arrested. We had Bibles underneath the truck, and which we were handing out. And so this is how it went on, and it got worse and worse. And one day we had to go and meet a man called Pastor Petra, who was the head of this underground church. And we didn't have an address, we didn't know where to go. All we knew it was in Bucharest. So we drove along, and we were thinking we're going to have to ask somebody. And the truck broke down. And as I got out the driving cab, and I thought, oh no, we've got no tyre. We're going to have to, we'll have to get another tyre from somewhere. And a man come out of the hedgerow, right outside the truck, and he said to me, oh, welcome, we've been praying for you. And this was literally 10 foot away from where the truck broke down. And we walked through this gap in the hedge, and there was this church inside this basement where they were all praying for us, and God had told them that we'd arrived. So he came out to welcome us. So we thought, wow, this is amazing. The next morning we got up, and we got the lady with the one leg that we was meant to pick up, and we decided we put her in the truck, and we was bringing her back. Now on the way through to the orphanage, we found this orphanage, and even the people in the town didn't know that it existed. The people were dying, the children were in a terrible state. They hadn't been fed, they were all dying of AIDS. There was only water twice a day for them to drink. They were all eating and drinking their own feces and urine. They were all dying. But we managed to get in to see them, and that now is a huge orphanage with all brand new hospitals and Christian workers there, so that was a blessing. But then the miracles didn't stop there. On the way back home, I was bringing the lorry back with a friend of mine, and we were given the papers to bring back, and one of the guys had all the money, and he said, Pete, I'm going to give you some money here, there's about £400, you'll need it to get through the borders and to buy food and whatever you need, and diesel for the truck. So off we set. It was in an envelope, and we drove all day, and we got to the Hungarian border, and we realised, to our horror, the fuel light had been flashing for about 10 miles, and I said, look, there's a petrol station at the border, we'll get petrol then. We opened this package, and inside was Hungarian money worth enough to buy 2 Mars bars with. We had no cash, we had no phones, we had nothing to get through. So the guy that I was with, we brought him along, and he was really ill, and he was crying all the time. He was desperate to get home, thought he'd never see his family again. And I prayed and prayed and prayed. Well, we got in the truck, we got through the border, we carried on driving, and we drove right through the night. There was only one tank on this truck, and it was empty. And we drove without any diesel in it. It carried on driving until the next day, and we were in a 20-30 mile traffic jam all the way to the Swiss border. And we were stuck there, and by this time the lorry had been driving for 2 full days without any diesel.